So yeah, I think fundamentally I believe that great nations are born when amazing work cultures are born. I think इंडिया में ना 2016 में जो हमने इनोवेट लॉन्च किया, we realized that at इंडिया के अंदर ना people were not very happy working. We are all Garfields. In India, we have a significant disorder which is called Monday blues. We hate Mondays. And we realized the reason was that offices were mundane and completely uninspiring. So we thought, how do we change that? And we realized that at building, if just imagine you had at a Starbucks like office, like a Starbucks में आप coffee पीने जाते हो. Just imagine if you had at a proper office just like Starbucks, and that was our thesis. And in 2016 we started with Innov8 with that thesis. We want to enable millennials, startups, SMEs, enterprises, anyone who's serious about their work to have an amazing atmosphere so that they are not bound by unproductive offices. So I think the biggest problem was explaining people what co-working is. Co-working at that point in time, 2016 में बहुत नया concept था. No one knew about co-working, and I still remember going to a lot of people, a lot of freelancers, startups, and telling them that come and work out of our offices. And they said, why should we work out of your office? Like, we would either create our own office or we would work out of our home. And we realized that was a big challenge, but we've been very fortunate because the industry has picked up with a solid CAGR in the past 3 to 4 years, and which has actually now led to massive dominant status of co-working in large orthodox conventional family offices and large Indian corporations listed on BSE to actually adopt co-working spaces. So I think a lot of things go beyond on that. We have 4 key principles. The first one is location. Typically, we are a real estate play, and we realize that the more closer we are to transport hubs, the more closer we are to retail hubs, the better it is for the people who are coming to our spaces. Across the country, across 22 campuses span India, which are live. We've realized that location plays a big role in for people to select their co-working offices, and the biggest one is we want to be at the most prime locations in the country. If we are in Delhi, we will be in Connaught Place. If we are in South Delhi, we will be in Saket. If we are in Noida, we will be in Film City. If we are in Gurgaon, we will be in GCR, Cyber Hub. If we are in Bombay, we will be like, the idea is be on the most thickly populated street of that particular city, and that makes all the difference. And that is why we have a sustained and extremely high occupancy throughout our campuses. Apart from location, then we take up the entire project, the design. We focus a lot on making campuses which are very Indian in their innate sense. We make sure that we have a lot of Indian materials that we use in our campuses, and then the kind of designs that we use. Post that, the community, once the campus is launched, we make sure that at location and design is something anyone can steal. Our biggest intangible value is our community, the kind of people who work out of our campuses, the kind of networking events, the kind of knowledge sharing events that we can schedule for our co-workers. That is something very important to innovate. And post that, obviously, service level agreements that we do with our vendors to make sure that basic facilities like AC, Wi-Fi, light, basic washroom hygiene, and all these things are not taken for granted. Every day, every customer, every second is super critical to us. Our biggest metric that we track is NPS, the Net Promoter Score, to make sure that each and every customer is happy with us. So I think as any other business, there's a learning curve. मैं तो डॉक्टर हूँ, मेरे को तो ना कोई MBA ना कुछ है, so I've learned a lot, and real estate is very new for me, and we realized that this is a very capex heavy business. Like एक स्क्वायर फीट के लिए हमारे को हज़ारों में पैसा खर्चना पड़ता है, एंड लाइक वी हैव लैक्स ऑफ स्क्वायर फीट अंडर Innov8 brand, and we realized that for this sort of an expansion you need crores and crores of rupees to make sure that you are able to transform the spaces, and because of that this is a very capital heavy business. So the first challenge was to convince investors to invest into this sort of a capex heavy model, which gave sustained yields but were unproven at that point in time back in 2016, and Y Combinator helped a lot. I was there in San Francisco for almost half an year to make sure that I learn the right ways to make sure or how we run Innov8 as a startup, and we grow into a corporation tomorrow. And post that, once capital was there, we started taking a lot of debts and making sure that we had sustained. This business is not a one-stop business. You cannot have just one shop. You need to have multiple campuses so that people can have intercity mobility. A person working out of Bombay, he should be able to come to Delhi and work out of a campus whenever he's traveling to Delhi. A person who's working out in Delhi, for example, every 8.5 kilometers we have an Innov8 in Delhi. Our thesis is simple, that the moment you take your metro from a film city in Noida till Gurgaon, you should be able to have an Innov8 everywhere. You just come out and have an Innov8 very near you. So that is the whole thesis. We want to be deeply penetrated into cities and make sure that every 8 to 9 kilometers there is our center, so that people do not need to use those coffee shops. They should just come and be a part of the Innov8 community. I think the biggest risk was running away from my doctor degree and quitting the entire profession to take up entrepreneurship as a career. I think that is something which is very exciting for me. So lacks of improvement. We are on a daily basis, we fail as a business. We have very high benchmarks. We have a lot of aspirations for us as a product, and though our customers are extremely happy with us, but on a daily basis I can see the lacuna that we have, and we want to improve upon those, and we want to make sure by 2020 we are able to make sure that as a business we are extremely sustainable, extremely profit focused, and we make sure that at each and every asset that we own makes, we basically need to make great business decisions, and that is the only way to fuel our growth. And for us, for 2020, we want to make sure that we decrease the cost for each seat that becomes live, so that we can pass on the end product to our end user at a much lower cost, so that more and more people can be exposed to the culture of co-working, to the culture of managed and shared office spaces. So I think this is my personal belief. I believe that community is the most critical element of a co-working play. Anyone can go for the location that you are going for. Anyone can create a design using a better design firm. Anyone can make sure that all the ops are intact. But one thing which will massively differentiate you from your competitors is your community. What is the vibe in that space? What kind of people are working? How much? So our belief is, before Innov8 and after Innov8, we call it BI and AI. Before Innov8, if a person is at X level in terms of knowledge, after joining Innov8, he should be at 10X. He should be exposed to so many different people. He should be exposed to so many different opportunities, so that he should be able to increase his mental consciousness. He should be able to increase his sensitivity towards his environment. He should be able to increase his knowledge base and his exposure generally to the entire outlook of the world. So that is something, and that is why we do a lot of events. We partner with amazing organizations worldwide, from a nation of Brazil to America to Europe to China to Southeast Asia. We partner with a lot of companies, startups, NGOs, to make sure that we are a community movement helping people get access to the millennials of India, and our millennials get access to amazing initiatives worldwide. And I think that has been our biggest differentiator so far. So I always believe that it's all about jumping. People don't jump. I believe that you will never have the right answers. You just need to take the leap of faith. At times you just need to jump. Just start something, and you'll see slowly things will start taking their shape, and that is very critical. People do not jump. People are always so one thing which is common amongst all the people in this world is fear of failure. We are daunted by failures. We hate the entire attribute of failing, and with that at risk in mind, people don't take the jump. I think jumping into an ocean which is unknown is the most critical aspect. For 2020, I would urge all the people seeing this to just take the jump. And I can guarantee, if you just take the jump, keep on hustling it out, and keep on improving your skill base, you will be absolutely successful by the end of 2020. Just make sure for these next 12 months, whatever negatives, whatever failures come your way, turn them. Success is nothing but failure turned inside out. Make sure you take the jump.